I'm Chad Stewart, Curator of History for the Charleston Museum. We're here at the Heyward-Washington house at 87 Church Street in downtown Charleston. This house was built in 1772, 1 year before the Charleston Tea Party. We're going to be exploring some collections objects from the Charleston Museum that demonstrate high-status tea wares from the 18th century. The Heyward-Washington house was the home of Thomas Heyward Jr. and his family. Thomas Heyward Jr. was one of South Carolina's 4 signers of the Declaration of Independence. We're here in the second floor drawing room, the most lavish room in their townhouse. Parlors and drawing rooms like this one were some of the most elaborate rooms in Charleston houses in the 18th century. They were used for many different functions, but one of the primary functions was the service of tea in high-status households. Today we're going to look at some tea wares from the collections of the Charleston Museum. These are the types of things that wealthy families like the Heywards would have used in the 18th century. They include silver, porcelain, and furniture like tea tables and kettle stands. Silver was a status symbol in 18th century households. Things like this hot water urn, teapot, sugar, tongs, and teaspoons showed that the family that owned them had wealth. This urn was purchased by Eliza Lucas Pinckney for the marriage of her daughter in 1768. It's unique in that Eliza purchased it in London herself and brought it back. This speaks to the wealth and mobility of high-status Charlestonians in the 18th century. The porcelain on the table is Chinese export porcelain, made in China for export to the British and American markets. Chinese export porcelain was very expensive in the 18th century. The pieces you see on the table are examples including a teapot, plates, cups, saucers, and a waste bowl. The silverware used in 18th century households represents how cosmopolitan Charleston society was at that time. They employed pieces made both locally, in other American colonies such as Philadelphia, and in England. In addition to expensive silver and porcelain, the service of tea in elite households like the Heywards required specialized furniture, including pieces like this mahogany tea caddy. Tea caddies were used to store loose-leaf tea securely in a locked box. One of the most important pieces of furniture for a British-style tea service was a tea table. In houses like the Heyward-Washington house, where the parlor or drawing room had multiple functions, it was important that tea tables be able to fold up and go against the wall so the room could be used for something else. That's why tea tables frequently have tilt tops. Another form of furniture used for the service of tea in high-status households was the kettle stand. Kettle stands held silver hot water urns and contained a slide out upon which you could put the porcelain teapot, which would then be filled by the urn. Thank you for joining us today to explore high-status tea wares from the collections of the Charleston Museum here at the Heyward-Washington house. We hope you'll be able to visit Charleston's only Revolutionary period house museum.